Woohoo! Happy Gay Pride Month. Now, I must admit, I have been wanting to do a post or a live around Gay Pride Month all month. And here it is, 30 June, the very last day. And I've run out of time. Now, why do you think I have, it's taken me 30 days to jump on and actually talk about this? I think maybe I'm just a little bit shy or a little bit nervous about talking about this aspect of me in social media, which is kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know, I don't have any fears or anything around it. It's just, you know what? I have never, ever defined myself by being gay. I've never associated that with part of my self-identity, which I think is kind of, is very different to, for a lot of other people. And so I've never really thought that it was actually anyone's, business or, cause for any conversation. But, in the journey for people that are gay has been a bumpy one, just as it has been for a lot of other minority groups. And I'm not going to jump into any of that today. But what I suppose the focus or the aspect that I want to come from is maybe share some of the stories and insights I've had along the way by being gay. How about that? And of course, I have to have a little laugh because my middle name is Gay, G-A-Y-E. So it's kind of funny, isn't it? Like a little paradoxical that, my full name is Jennifer Gay Lincoln. So, who knows? Anyway, I was named after my auntie Gay, and she was a beautiful, vibrant, full of life personality. And so I feel very, very privileged to have my middle name after her. She was super duper. She was very different to the rest of the Lincoln family in that she was, most of the Lincoln family, I think, are very left brain orientated. And Auntie Gay was very right brain orientated. She was a poet, she was a sculptor, she was a painter. She sang, she sang one of my favorite songs that she used to always sing was Summertime. Oh man, God, she could just croon that one out. And it was really, really beautiful. But she was full of joy, and so her name reflected that joy and that essence. And so, that's what I channel with from my middle name in that way too, because, I being joyful, being joy-filled and light and bright is such an important thing for me now. For too long, certainly in my corporate life, I wore a very serious face. In fact, after I left corporate, I had to reteach myself how to smile. It took a while to get my dimples back. These are my dimples from my, 6-year-old self. And, they have really only come back into being, I don't even think in the last decade. I think probably in the last maybe 5 years or so, I've got my childhood dimples back, which means that, there's lots of deep joy and smiling and happiness within this body and within this heart and from this beautiful soul. So, so let's jump into talking about being gay. What do you want to know? Do you have any questions for me? It's kind of interesting. I think I probably knew I was gay or felt that way. I seem to be rhyming a bit today. Back in high school, when I realized that, I had really strong feelings and crushes on, two of my teachers, my female teachers. And, so I suppose that's what first started to twig my thoughts around that. And then I think it just went from there. And, in corporate world, certainly, I got a cadetship with Price Waterhouse. And, a lot of it didn't really come up a lot in the beginning because, I was so busy and I definitely was married to my corporate career. But it was definitely as I became more and more aware that that was my orientation and I loved women. It was not something that was it was certainly something that was frowned upon. And it was something that we kept under wraps, certainly from a career perspective. Because actually, ultimately, I got told that I would never make partner, and one of the reasons why was because I was gay. Now, that couldn't happen in this day and age, but it's okay because you know what, my soul's journey didn't include becoming a partner at Price Waterhouse. I was happy to be a senior manager, and then move out from the consulting side of things and move on to the other side of the table and to start running companies. And I learned a lot, and that was definitely my path. So I don't hold any remorse or blame or wounding or any judgment around that, because actually that decision moved me onto my path of purpose and where I was meant to be. So, thumbs up for that. But it is kind of interesting. There's some funny stories. There was another gay guy at PW. There was myself and this other gay guy. And so we used to always pair up and partner. So when we used to have to go to the balls and when we were out, because we used to all go night clubbing a lot back in those days. And, when we went for dinners and lunches and all that sort of stuff, Kevin and I were always together. So everyone thought we were a couple, but we were both gay. So, it worked really, really well. And so we had that arrangement for probably, I don't know, at least a good 4 or 5 years. So that was very handy. So thank you, Kevin. I definitely appreciate, I appreciate being a partner in crime in that sort of way. So that was kind of good. So, it didn't affect me too much apart from, I must admit, I did have a bit of a bruised ego, when I was told that I wasn't going to make partner. But anyway, it helped me course correct. It helped me pivot onto the path of purpose for me. So, as I said, I don't hold any animosity around that whatsoever. In fact, it was a good navigational change, So that sort of leads me to, to reiterate that often we think that things happen to us when really they're happening for us. And that is a really good example of how circumstances outside, were they outside of me? I mean, I initiated it because of being gay, but, those things happen for a reason. They happened, and that decision helped me get on to a different path that I needed to take. So, so that's my memory about that situation, back in my 20s. And, I have been really fortunate. I have had some beautiful partnering, with some really big-hearted, beautiful women. And, each one of them has given me a different gift. One of them helped me find the uniqueness of my personality. And, I was a fairly timid girl. Yes, timid when I first left school and stepped into my cadetship. And so certainly my partner there helped me find my personality and my uniqueness, and certainly that's when I entered into my party girl mode, which was a fun, time of my life. Lots of wonderful, fun memories and some crazy times. And, and then another one of my partners helped me, find and rediscover and reconnect with my heart, and she was very, very supportive in terms of throughout my time when I left corporate. And, I went through a really rough time then because I had to reinvent myself. And my reinvention was, I totally defined myself in terms of my career. I was a successful businesswoman that drew a salary that was, very sizable. And, and all the trappings that came with, a big job running companies and, making, buying and selling type decisions around companies. And because, I was a strategist back and then. So I did a lot of M&A work, a lot of mergers and acquisition work and things like that. And so, when you take all of that away and you strip yourself down, there's not a lot left. When you step away from the definition from a doing aspect, it's a very breezy space. And so my beautiful partner of the time was very supportive and gave me a lot of love and gave me the space to, without any expectation whatsoever, to be able to deconstruct myself. And that was a pretty gnarly time for me, and I imagine, and definitely for her, because it was a very dark space for me. But I have to say, in all honesty, tears of truth, I would never have got through that stage without her. So that was a beautiful blessing. And I think it's kind of interesting, just the impact and I want to say immensity, but I don't think that's a word. It's a combination of immense and intense, maybe. The depth and the love of a woman at that time was just absolutely critical to me still being on this earth. So, that was a very important and powerful relationship, and, a difficult time where a lot of deep feminine love was, just exactly what I needed at that time. It was very nurturing and, and a time when I was rebirthing myself, that feminine energy and love was exactly what I needed, because I was held not just physically, but, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, energetically, in all ways. So, and it's kind of interesting, to this date, I've, it's probably only in the last few years that I've actually, used the term gay to describe myself. And I do that because it's easy. It's easy and it gets me out of trouble. Because, certainly as a solo female traveller, you get a lot of offers and I just say, sorry, you're not my type. And so it's very convenient for me to get out of. So yes. So, but other than, that sort of situation, I don't define myself in that way. I would rather be known for, when it comes to love, I want to be known for the love that I am, and for the depth and the extent of love that I bring into the world, that I bring into my partnering, that I bring into all my connections and all my relationships. I think it's irrelevant as to, who I love. That's, to me, not the issue. It's about what you do with your love and actually, how you project and be the love that you are. And then in terms of stepping that, how you can empower other people to do that. So it doesn't matter who the hell, as far as I'm concerned, it's not anyone's business, who I choose to love, whether it's male or female, and whether I'm heterosexual or gay, And all the relationships and the beautiful connections I have are at a heart and soul level anyway. So, it doesn't really come back to the vehicle or the body or, it's, people love you for who you are. Not for who you love. So, and I think they're the people that really see you and that really get you. and that connect with you, and they too are living their lives through the lens of love. Because, you know, when you do live your life through the lens of love, you're not judgmental about someone's preferences, whether it's, you know, who they sleep with, who they vote for, who they're friends with, you know, what car they drive, where they live, what they look like, their size, their weight, any of that, you know. When you live and love through the lens of love, you are, you know, you meet people at their essence, at a heart and a soul level, and that to me is the most powerful connection, and that's how you can be soulfully impactful with people around you. So what else do I want to say? Do you guys have any questions? I'm not sure if you do, if you're here live, you know, whip a question in the comments. Not that I can see, actually, I think my phone's playing up a little. But yeah, if you have any questions, ask. If you want to ask questions in a private, personal message me. I'm an open book, as you know. But, so I think, what do I want to, you know, what do I want to wrap up with is, I think, you know, to me it comes back to what I was just saying before about leading through the lens of love, and, you know, accepting people for who they are at a heart and soul level, and seeing past the words and the actions, seeing past what they, you know, how they react or don't react, or, you know, how they dress and how they look. And it's more the vibe, you know, it's the energy of the person, it's the energy of their heart and soul, and that's really what matters. That's the truth of it, you know, how we spend our time and who we spend our time with, who we love, and all of that doesn't come into, or it shouldn't come into, you know, judgment around whether someone's a good or a bad person, or whether they're allowed to do that, because that's just all conditional. That's all conditional thinking and projection, and we see a lot of that at the moment. And, you know, I think humanity needs to track the path of leading and living through the lens of love, and also plotting a path towards unconditionality. You know, we just put so many rules and conditions upon ourselves. You know, how can you be expansive, and how can you love and be the true essence of you when there's so many freaking hoops and rules and conditions to jump through? You know, you're so busy jumping through the hoops, you're missing out on life, you know. And then you're getting everyone else to jump through the hoops, and we're just so full of busyness, which is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So, but anyway, we all need a little bit of cray-cray, and, you know, I think the most important thing is that when we find and see and we get the feedback, you know, because all of this is navigational feedback. And, you know, I talk about that a lot in HumNav, the Human Navigation Project. And as I said before, the doors of that's going to be opening at the end of the week. So I'm happy to get back in and around that. And, you know, we're going to be talking a lot about how do we navigate our way in our life towards, you know, unconditionality, because that's true freedom. You know, it's freedom from everything. It's freedom from expectation. It's freedom from judgment. It's freedom from, you know, it's financial freedom, it's social freedom, it's freedom in every part of your life. It's freedom from conditions that you impose upon yourself and that you impose upon each other. So, yeah. So my message today is celebrate you for who you are at a truth level. My truth is, hi, I'm Jenny and I'm gay. And gay is my middle name as well. How funny and apt is that? So to all my beautiful gay and heterosexual friends and everywhere in the middle, I love you all dearly. And yes, as I said right at the beginning, I want to be known for the love that I am and for how deeply and extensively I love and the impact that my love can bring about for others. I don't think it really matters who I love. The first thing is the more powerful thing. So I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you for tuning in, and I'm sending you guys big, big love. and big hugs, and I'll catch you tomorrow on Hopping on Live 365. God, I'm getting all my numbers mixed up. Day 78, I think. Alrighty, big hugs. See you later. Bye.